Hello everyone and welcome to the WCG for match 5 of the 2022 TextBet Australia T20 Big Bash, which sees yet another meeting of these eternal rivals at the Australia Day T20 Big Bash as Wet Up take on HOWZAT for the third consecutive tournament in the group stages and a record equaling 6th time overall. As we take a look at how Group A stands after one match, it's Wet Up who sit pretty at the top of Group A after their 2-wicket win against 2 inches short of length in the opening match of the tournament. Means a win against HOWZAT will see them seal top spot and qualify for the knockout stages once again, as the captains are making their way out into the middle for the all-important toss. Marco Fisher again. We're the lowest ranked, so we'll call flats. Ball again. Matt White wins his second consecutive toss for the tournament, and for the second consecutive time, he's elected to bowl first. And as we take a look at his side for this crunch encounter, they'll head into this one full of confidence after a pretty resounding victory against the men in red in match 1, with each member of the side making significant contributions towards the victory. And if they can get the W in this one, they'll qualify top of the group. But to do that, they'll have to do something they haven't done since 2017, and that's beat their eternal rivals HOWZAT. It's as you were for the 2-time champs who crashed out at the group stage in last year's edition. The side will be captained by Brendan Scott once again, who is coming off a lean opening test match of the summer with the bat. Costa Savas lines up for his 5th straight tournament with the men in charcoal, and the side will be rounded out by the tall timber himself, Daniel Arnold. And just before we get underway, we'd like to thank our major partner for this year's tournament, TextBet, who have been fantastic since jumping on board. Bet local, bet with Tex. So for a record equaling 6th time of the Australia Day T20 Big Bash, these two eternal rivals go head to head. It's Wet Up taking on HOWZAT. Let's get it on. So unsurprisingly, it will be the HOWZAT skipper Brendan Scott who will get this innings underway with the bat. Averaged less than 10 in his 2 digs in this tournament last time out. Can he get the 2-time chance off to the perfect start with the blade? So it's going to be skipper v skipper for the opening over of the contest, as it's White into Scott. Here is in now, it's a full delivery, and Scott gets a thick outside edge as this one squirts away onto the fence. So a nervy start there from the HOWZAT skipper. His feet were nowhere, and that could have gone anywhere. So another brilliant start with the ball from White, as he'll continue to Scott in the opening over. Here he's in now, and this one's a full delivery, and he gets a thick inside edge towards the fence. And has this gone for a boundary? No, I think it's been stopped by the pillar of the fence once again. Well, I think the umpire was signalling for, but he has corrected his decision. It's a thick inside edge from Scott, and the best fielder at the WCG, the fence, stops it from going to the boundary. So HOWZAT away for the contest, as White will continue to Scott in the opening over. And this one's a back of a length delivery. It's a wider delivery on, and it has been called a wide from the umpire. So HOWZAT no wicket for 2 in the opening over. Scott was already dismissed at this stage of the innings in last year's contest. Here is White is in once again to Scott, and this one's a back of a length delivery. And Scott does well to keep this down in the end, as this didn't look too far away from hitting the bin, or short enough to still remain at the crease. No wicket for 2, as White will continue to Scott in the opening over of match 5. Here he's in now, and this one's a quick delivery outside the off stump, and Scott is happy to shoulder arms and let this one go. Here, this is a tournament that White seems to like with the ball. Had a tremendous tournament in last year's edition, picking up 6 poles on his side's journey to the grand final. As White will continue to Scott again in the opening over. This one's another quick delivery, but he's pushed this one down leg side, and this will be the second wide of the over. I suppose with the searing pace can come a lack of accuracy at times. Bowled 2 wides in his side's previous win against 2 inches short of a length. And he's bowled 2 here. He will continue to Scott in the opening over. This one's a full delivery. It's played towards Merrifield on the leg side. And White seems to think he nearly snuck through here. Let's have a look at the replay. It's a smart stop from Merrifield, who gets down quickly. Oh, it's comfortable enough. It's a good over though from White. No wicket for 3 after 1. So it'll be Michael Johnson who will bowl the second over of the innings. As he's in now over the wicket here to Scott. It's a full delivery. It's a thick inside edge once again. And it's brilliantly stopped by Gavin Merrifield there at mid-wicket, who gets up well to stop the boundary. It's like a goalkeeper tipping it over the bar. It's good teamwork, that. So Scott yet to get away here in this contest. No wicket for 3 after 6 deliveries. As Johnson's into him once again, and this one's well tucked off his hip onto the fence, and he'll move through for a single. Here, the green machine won't mind this. As long as the balls aren't going to the boundary, they'll be content with this start. How's that? No wicket for 4 into the second over. As Johnson will continue to the How's That skipper. He's in now. This one's another back of a length delivery, and Scott tries to pull this on the leg side into the fence, and he gets a bottom edge onto his body, and he'll move through for yet another single. So How's That? No wicket for 5 in the second over. Scott just cannot find the boundary here in this early stages. But in the past, it has taken him a bit to get going, and he's made up for it at the end. Here is Johnson will continue to him now in the second over. And this one's a shorter delivery. It looked wide, but this one has been let go by the umpire. So a dot there for the green machine. As we arrive at the final delivery of the second over. Johnson into Scott. It's a back of a length delivery. It's a good delivery, and Scott can only defend on the leg side to end with. So you'd probably think it's the green machine who will be the happier of the two sides at the halfway mark of the innings. How's that? No wicket for 5 after 2. But traditionally, this is where Scott has got going at the back end of the innings. And no one knows that more than Gavin Merrifield, who's next up with the ball. So it will be Gavin Merrifield who will bowl the third over of the innings. As he's in now round the wicket here to Scott. It begins with a good delivery. And Scott looks down at the pitch as if to say this has done something. And it's another priceless dot. So 11 deliveries bowled and just a 5 runs scored here for How's That? As Merrifield is in once again to Scott. And this one's a shorter delivery which stays low. And Scott can only get a toe end. So it's another dot. So 12 deliveries bowled, just the 5 runs scored. And How's That are going to want to get a move on here. Here, this has been good stuff so far from the lime green. As Merrifield is in once again to Scott. And this one's a short delivery. And this time it's been put into the party stand for the first boundary of the contest. It's a much needed maximum for the two-time champs. As How's That move to 11 without loss. So Merrifield to continue to Scott around the wicket in the third over. Here he's in now. This one's a good length delivery and has hit away through the leg side for back-to-back boundaries. Scott starting to get going here in match 5. Scott moves along to 13. How's that? 15 without loss with 1 to go in the third. So Merrifield in for the final delivery of the third over. As in now around the wicket here to Scott. It's a short delivery. And Scott paddles this towards Matt White, who fields well to prevent the boundary. So it's a priceless dot to end with. Looked a little high, but he gets away with it. 15 without loss with 1 to go. So no surprises, it will be Matt White who will bowl the final over of this innings. As he'll steam in here to Scott. He's in now, and that's a quick delivery back of a length. And Scott has a wild swing at it. Well, I'll tell you what, this would have ended up in Liverpool if you made contact. But it's a swing and a miss for the How's That skipper. So another priceless dot for the men in green. As White will continue to Scott in the final over. He's in now, this one's a full delivery and it's hammered down the ground this time for a boundary. Well, that was emphatic as you'd like from Scott. It's one-handed, this can't have been too far away from the bin. It's far away enough, and it's 4. So the two-time champs, 19 without loss, with 3 deliveries left in the innings. As White is into Scott and he drops short and it's hammered down the ground. This time for a maximum from Scott. Back-to-back boundaries in the final over. White seldom gets this treatment. Scott moves along to 23. How's that? 25 without loss. So White responds by going around the wicket for the final 2 deliveries of the innings. Here he's in now. Scott advances and he hammers this, but he's hammered it over the house. White gets the last laugh here in this contest as he removes his opposition skipper for 23. How's that? 1 for 25 with 1 delivery remaining in the contest. And a bit of mutual respect there from the 2 captains. So that wicket will now bring Daniel Arnold to the crease for the final delivery of the innings. He was the difference between the 2 sides with the blade in last year's encounter. but he's only got one ball to do some damage here. So how's that? 1 for 25 with one delivery remaining. It's White to Arnold for the final delivery of the innings. He's in now. This one's a full fast delivery, but he's pushed this one down the leg side. So that'll have to be re-bowled. It's now 26 for the loss of 1 wicket here for HOWZAT. Can the man they call Coco get one away to the boundary and push his side beyond that 30 mark? White is into Arnold. It's a full delivery. It's hammered down the ground, but it's well stopped by White off his own bowling with his foot to prevent a certain boundary. So they keep the two-time champs under the 30 mark, and they'd have to be pretty happy with that, all things considered. So after a slow start with the blade, HOWZAT finish at 1 for 27 after their 20 deliveries, which is not a bad score by any stretch of the imagination, particularly against the bowling arsenal of which Wetup possess. But with Scott looking to take off at the back end of the innings, the men in green would have to be happy with where they are at the moment. It's 28 to get for the lime green to seal top spot and seal a knockout berth once again. So a change to the top of the order for this run chase. It's going to be Michael Johnson who will get this run chase underway with the blade. It was Gavin Merrifield who opened up against 2 inches short of a length, but you feel this is the right man for the job. So it's 28 to get here for the lime green to seal top spot in Group A, and it's going to be Scott to bowl the first over of the innings. Here he's in now and he begins with a wayward delivery. This is short as, and this sails way over Johnson's head. So it's a shocker to begin with from Scott. Not even the Puffin Billies are that high. So the men in green away for the run chase. As Scott is into Johnson once again. Oh, it's another shocker from Scott, who just can't find his radar to begin this innings. So it's another one added to the total without a legitimate ball being bowled. Here Scott will continue again now to Johnson. And this one, oh, it's been called a wide this time. So it's a shocking start with the ball here from Scott. Well, how important will this prove to be at the back end of the innings? Here is Scott will continue again now to Johnson. Oh, he's on the money this time. And it's an absolute jaffa that beats Johnson all ends up. Here, it just looked like that Johnson might have misread the length. Yeah, it was a ball rising. So Scott finally lands a legitimate delivery as he'll continue to Johnson in the opening over. Here he's in now. This one's a back of a leg delivery and Johnson plays this away on the leg side. Here he's done pretty well to keep this down in the end as this one hits the glove and drops down towards the fence as he moves through for a single. So Johnson off the mark for the run chase. Wetup 4 without loss as Scott will continue to Johnson in the opening over. Here he's in now. This one's a good delivery. It's another one that beats Johnson. So he's either rocks or diamonds here at the moment is Scott. That's a beauty which beats the outside edge of Johnson. Oh, actually he's played around it. It's a good rock. So Scott to continue to Johnson in the opening over of the run chase. Here he's in now. This one's another full delivery. And it's a wild swing and a miss this time from Johnson, who does not make contact. So he's pulled this over back reasonably well here as the HOWZAT skipper. So we arrive at the final delivery of the over. And it's a full delivery outside the off stump. And Johnson is happy enough to let this go. 4 without loss after 1. So it's going to be the youngster Costa Savas to bowl the second over of the innings. As he's in now over the wicket here to Johnson. Begins with a back of a length delivery, but he's pushed this one down the leg side. And that will be called a wide. So that's the 4th wide already in the innings here for the men in charcoal. How crucial will that prove to be at the back end of the innings? As Savas is in once again to Johnson. And this time he gets a thick inside edge, but he gets it away past Daniel Arnold there at mid-wicket for the first boundary of the innings. Johnson picking up where he left off in match 1 as he moves along to 5. Wetup 9 without loss in the second over. As Savas will continue again now to Johnson. This one's a good delivery. Johnson defends back down the pitch and he goes to set off for a single as Scott pounces on it and tells him to get the hell back there. So this is a pretty reasonable start to the run chase here from the 2019 champs. Here is Savas in once again to Johnson. And this one's slapped away down the ground. But it's well fielded by Scott, who gets his right hand down to make the stop. So back-to-back dots here for HOWZAT, who would love to see the back of Johnson sooner rather than later. As Savas is in once again to him now. And this one's another one that's pushed down the leg side. So that's another one that's called a wide. And another one that has to be re-bowled. 10 without loss here, Wetup. 5 wides already bowled in this innings. As Savas is in once again to Johnson. And it's another one pushed down the leg side. So that makes it 6 wides bowled in the innings already. And we're not yet halfway through the second over. So HOWZAT having discipline issues with the ball. As Savas under a bit of pressure here in this second over. As he's in now, this one's a full delivery. And this one's bang on target all right. As it knocks back Johnson's castle. Here it looked like a bit of an erratic stroke from Johnson. You just get the feeling, was this needed? It's a wild hoik across the line. But Johnson's devastation is met with HOWZAT's elation. That's a big wicket for the 2-time champs. Johnson goes for 5. Went up 1 for 11 in the second over. So it's 17 to get from 11 deliveries. And that wicket now brings the skipper, Matt White, to the crease at number 2. Had a fantastic tournament with the blade in last year's edition. Can he get his side home in this one? So it'll be Savas to bowl to White for the final ball of the second over. Here he's in now. This one's a full delivery. But once again, it's another one pushed down the leg side. So that makes it 4 wides for the over and 7 for the innings here for HOWZAT. So still 1 delivery left in this second over. The men in green 1 for 12. As Savas is in now to White, and this one's a full delivery, and it's brilliantly driven down the ground here from the wet-up skipper. Well, I'll tell you what, he looks up for this tournament once again. It's a full delivery from Savas, and that's just about as good as it gets. So the group of death never disappoints. This one hanging in the balance here in match 5. Wet-up requiring 12 runs off 10 deliveries to seal top spot in Group A. And you'd have to feel that if HOWZAT cannot remove the wet-up skipper, they're going to get it done here. A big final quarter of the match coming up. So it will be skipper v skipper for the 3rd over of the innings. It's Scott into White. Here he's in now and he begins with a bullet, which knocks back White's castle. And just like that, HOWZAT put themselves into a match-winning position. White stay at the crease as a brief one, as the HOWZAT skipper gets revenge for his first innings dismissal. Wet up 2 for 16 in the 3rd over. And has this massive wicket of the wet up skipper just pushed the pendulum towards the 2-time champs. Well, if wet up are going to get up in this one, they're going to have to rely on the bat of Gavin Merrifield, who is the last man to the crease here for the 2019 champs. Has been short of batting time in this tournament in the recent past. Can he get the 12 required? So it's Scott into Merrifield. It's a full toss and it loops back towards all 3 of the HOWZAT fieldsmen there. And I think this is out. Is Arnold claiming the catch? He's claiming the catch and it hasn't been given. Well, there's some confusion about what's happening here. There's a lot of pointing and shouting. Here, the umpire just needs to give a decision here. And I think he finally has made, I think he's given it out. I think the match is over. It is. HOWZAT have prevailed here in match 5. Another victory against Wet Up to blow the group of death wide open. Here's we take a look. Oh, it looks like it's caught clean enough there. I'll tell you what, Scott and Savas's reaction aren't exactly convincing. If we take a look at this angle, oh, you know what, it looks like he's got his fingers underneath it. Arnold claimed it straight away, and at the end of the day, it's HOWZAT who claimed the 2 points in this one. So in a bit of an anticlimax to end this Group A blockbuster, it's HOWZAT who prevailed by 11 runs here in match 5. Scott making 23 with the bat and taking 2 wickets at the end to get his side home for the 3rd successive time in 3 years against the men in green. And it's now they who sit pretty at the top of Group A with 1 match to play. We'll go down to Daniel Arnold with the Mosh Mic.
G'day guys, here with Brendan, HOWZAT captain. We started a bit slow, so we pulled it back and scored some good runs in the end yourself. Well done.
You got very lucky, I thought.
Well, mate, we got the 2 points in the end. That was all that mattered. Another victory against the Lime Green. I think that's 3 in a row for us. A bit about bunnies, but we've got 1 more game to go. We've got 2 inches short of length. If we win that, we'll top the group, and we'll be on the way to riding a run from last year.
Well, if we get out of the group stage, we'll look out.
100%. 100%. Well done to you and the boys and Costa. We got a good win, so 1 more to go.
What did he do?
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Show me where the mic is.
So thanks to Daniel Arnold, who's doing a brilliant job with the Mosh Mic once again. So as we take a look at how Group A stands, After 2 matches here at the 2022 Australia Day T20 Big Bash, it's HOWZAT who sit atop of Group A thanks to their head-to-head record against Wet Up. And Wet Up now have a nervy wait ahead of the final match of Group A. A HOWZAT win will mean that HOWZAT and Wet Up both progress. However, a 2 inches short of a length win in the final match of Group A will make things very interesting indeed. So as we look ahead to the next match of the tournament, it's a do or die clash for last year's champions as they take on the WCG Babes, who will be looking to cause the ball over of all ball overs as they get their tournament underway. It's a must-win contest for the Men in Black coming up next.